Well, good morning. My name is Tracey Weiler, and I am the Ontario PC candidate here in Kitchener-Waterloo, and very pleased to be here today to chat with the students. I have a business background and an academic background. I've been in our local community for 15 years, and looking forward to having a conversation with students to find out and learn what your priorities are. That is probably the most important question that students can ask. Over the next couple of weeks, students will be looking at the platforms of the different parties and really determining where their vote should go. And voting is absolutely such an important voice for students. We have 3 great post-secondary education institutions here in the riding of Kitchener and Waterloo. We've got obviously UW, Laurier, and Conestoga College. And so a huge part of our community is the students, and I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what you have to say, what your priorities are. I was very honored at a young age to immigrate to Canada, and one of the most exciting and honorable times for me was when I got my Canadian citizenship, and I've always been proud to vote, and I hope that students do the same. Certainly, it's an exciting time with the provincial election forward, and I think when you get a chance to read the Progressive Conservative platform focused on 1 million jobs and how we are going to take a huge focus on youth unemployment, I think you'll see that giving a voice to the PC party plan and to myself as the candidate here in the local riding will be a voice for you at Queen's Park. Well, thank you for the question. Affordability of post-secondary education in Ontario is absolutely critical to the success of our future generations. So we need to take a serious look at it. And in the PC Million Jobs plan, we've laid out a series of platform steps that we think will support students in their goal to access and go through and ultimately succeed post-secondary education. So one of the things in our plan that we're focused on for education is opening up accessibility for OSAP. There has been some structured and somewhat rigid barriers there in the past, and one of our key goals is to absolutely make sure that any young person that is smart and bright and wants to access post-secondary education can do so. The second piece of what we want to do is hold the line on tuition. Since 2003, while the Liberal government has been in power, Ontario's tuition rates have become the highest in Canada, and they've increased 35%. This can't continue because students are finding it increasingly hard to find the money to pay for tuition. So we want to hold the line on that. Another piece of where we want to focus, and this is really interesting in terms of elements of post-secondary education that drive the economy. Research is showing us that some of the STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, business, and math, are key drivers of economic success. And so one of the things that we want to do is look at the various programs across the province and open up spots in those particular programs to actually ensure that students are coming out of university with education that is going to very much enable them to be successful, but is also an economic driver for the success of our province. The fourth thing that we want to do is to actually work on some of the transition credits. So we have heard from students that in some cases going back between college and university or university to college is somewhat difficult. It costs a lot of money, and students are not getting credit for work they've already done. So we have committed, which is increasingly important in this riding because of our post-secondary education institutions and having 2 universities and 1 college in the local environment, to ensure that we can support those transitions and students can get credits for work they've already done, which will amount to a personal savings to the students that decide that. So we have created a comprehensive and integrated platform that we think will enable students to become increasingly successful, combined with our economic jobs plan that is going to really focus on the youth unemployment issue that we have in Ontario today. So working hand in hand, we want to ensure that when students graduate from university, they are able to get good paying jobs that are meaningful, satisfying, and will start them on their career development track. We have obviously a number of startups in this region, and we're very lucky to have so much new job investment in our region. But we do know that youth unemployment is double the national average, and so we need to solve that issue. Part of what we're going to do, and I chatted a little bit about this already, is ensure that we focus and target and open some additional spots in those STEM subject areas. In fact, some jurisdictions in Canada have already focused in on this area because it's shown in research to really help students have the skills that they need from post-secondary education when they get out into the job market. But broader than that, Ontario needs to focus on getting our economy going again. We have currently $289 billion in debt. It's considered to be in worse shape than California. And California is like the poster child for a place that has spent too much. And so our comprehensive jobs plan is really focused on moving the economy, stimulating the economy. So how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing that you need to do is have an integrated plan. So there's not one single bullet that would be the answer. So our jobs plan, for small businesses, we plan to cut small business taxes or business taxes in general in Ontario by 30%. That will really help some of those startups be able to get some mobility, be increasingly successful, and ultimately hire more people. It also stimulates to outside investors that want to come in Ontario that it's a good place to invest. The second piece of that plan is actually affordable energy. So our energy prices have gone through the roof. They are unaffordable for many homeowners and businesses. So homeowners are finding that they don't have a lot of extra money because a lot of it is going to energy, and that is giving them less take-home pay. On the other side of that, businesses are finding it increasingly difficult to be competitive. The third piece of our jobs plan, and there are other layers to it, is opening up some jobs in the skilled trades, both at the skilled trade level, but also in the management level. So those would be three pieces on the stimulating your economy side that will allow jobs to come back to Ontario. Because no matter what we do, unless the jobs are there, we won't be able to have those great students fill them. We need to make sure the jobs are here in the province. The other piece of that is actually cutting our spending. So today, we pay interest at about $1 billion a month to overseas lenders. That's our tax dollars that people are paying out of their hard-earned income in Ontario that's just going out of the country. So we need to ensure that we can reduce those interest payments. And the reason for that is because those will be available tax dollars that we can actually put into the programs and services that we value so much as Ontarians, as Canadians: healthcare, education, social services, roads, infrastructure. As I mentioned earlier, today we pay more interest on debt than we do on our post-secondary education. We need to change this model, and the PC Party has a very detailed plan of how we're going to get our economy stimulated again, which will exponentially reduce those numbers of unemployment in general, but more importantly, youth unemployment, so that students coming out of school have good jobs. I think that, the Federation of Students, you've done a great job in adding voice to students and providing students with the opportunity to get information about the provincial election. So I applaud you for that, because it certainly is something that I feel is increasingly important. If I'm honored to be elected as the next MPP for Kitchener-Waterloo, I can assure students that you will have my ear and will always be able to talk to me about your priorities and have me as an advocate for you to help share the priorities that are important to you at Queen's Park. So on June 12th, I hope that you will consider giving me your vote. Thank you.